Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, President of France, Emmanuel Macron, solved the grain shortage issue. How did he solve it? By using the Russian suggestion. Let's see. Uh, this article comes from Reuters from June 17th, 2022, and this is the title. France's Macron skeptical on Russia-Odessa grain deal, sees Romania option. He just visited Romania and then he went and spoke with Zelensky. All right. Paris, France's president said on Friday he saw little chance of an agreement with Russia for now to get grain out of Ukraine port of Odessa, but said there were talks to regenerate rail routes linking Odessa to the Danube in Romania as an alternative. Linking Odessa to the Danube in Romania as an alternative. Ukraine's inability to use its major deep sea port, Odessa, because of Russia's military incursion has led to a jump in global food prices and warnings by the United Nations of hunger in poorer countries that rely heavily on imported grain. Russia denies it is the cause of the problem and blames Kiev for failure to get grain ships out of Odessa. The United Nations is trying to broker a deal to resume Ukraine's sea exports in return for facilitating Russia food and fertilizer exports, but that would need Moscow's green light. And I'm quoting, "We have to talk with Russia on food security and it can be justified by directing with a directing with the UN Secretary General to get grains out of Odessa," Macron told BFM TV on his way back to Ukraine. And I'm quoting, "But I don't believe a lot in this path because I already had talks a few weeks ago with President Vladimir Putin, but he didn't want to accept a UN resolution on this subject." End quote. After holding discussion with Ukrainian, German, Italian, and Romanian counterparts in Kiev on Thursday, Macron told broadcaster TF1, Telefrance 1, that options were being looked at to revamp a rail route from Odessa to the Danube River in Romania. Romania has been one of the alternative routes used to export Ukrainian grain. And I'm quoting, "Odessa is a few dozen kilometers from Romania, and through Romania, we would be able to access the Danube and the railway," end quote. Macron said, "We are in the process of creating a kind of connection point where we could export this grain much more strongly, quickly, and massively than we do today." A diplomatic source aware of the idea said the initiative would see grains eventually move to the Black Sea port of Constanța, where they could have been exported on larger vessels. Macron said Paris would send experts to help Bucharest as it ramps up investment for the scheme. Ukraine aims to use roads, rivers, and rail connections to increase its monthly grain exports to around 2 million tons, but this remains well below pre-war volumes of up to 6 million. That's unfortunate. Now, back to the Russians. When it was this issue with Odessa, the Russians said, "Guys, we are for a corridor from Odessa. We allow free passage, maritime corridor, 3 nautical mile wide, about 80 long, and that's it. But the Ukrainians have mines in the water in Odessa, in the port of Odessa, so speak with the Ukrainians." Ukrainians said, for good reason, "No, we're not going to take our mines out because you're going to invade us. You're going to land. We don't trust you." Okay, then the Turkish president, the guy with big things, he said, "Well, how about they can navigate around those mines if, I don't know exactly how. You give them the coordinates where the mines are, whatever." Then, but then this occurred a day ago. Erdogan came with this naughty idea. But when the conversation was, and the Ukrainians were pointing out that Russia holds the entire world hostage and hunger because of this and that, the Russians said, "Okay, what are you talking about? You can use Belarus, you can transit Belarus towards your friends Baltic states and use their ports. Or you can use Poland, and from Poland, there its ports. Then you can use Poland, Germany, its ports. Or you can use Romania, its port of Constanza. He gave all these options. Or you can use our port in Mariupol, the new port we got. And so he got about 7 options, but the Ukrainians got stuck with Odessa. No, just Odessa, Odessa, Odessa. And the president of Belarus, Lukashenko, said, hey, I'm okay with transiting, allowing trains to transit my country towards Baltic states with one condition. I also want my products to be able to be shipped via Baltic states ports. And Lithuanian president, whose population is 2.5 million, that's half of the city, said, no, we can't allow that because there's sanctions, and a sanction is a sanction. Oh yeah, really? Okay, so he was more Catholic than the Pope. And then so forget about you, dude. Move. But they got Poland. And now Macron lands like a crow. And he said, you know what? I got an idea, man. I got an idea. We can use Romania, huh? Am I not smart? Yeah, I'm a genius. And Putin like, what are you talking about? We talked about this like 3 weeks ago already. Oh, did you? Yeah, I was busy. All right. So nevertheless, I said, if they're gonna use Romania, they can go through the Danube River, and they can go down if they want in the Black Sea, or if the Russians are too close, they can go through the Danube River, cross the Danube River. I don't know how exactly, and then go to Constanza, and there you have it. And then Constanza goes wherever you want. You want to go, you go to the Dardanelles, Bosphorus, go on the Mediterranean Sea, right? And then you go to what? To Gibraltar, and you're ready to Atlantic, or you go to the Black Sea. Yeah, you are in the Black Sea. You go to the from the Mediterranean, you go to the the Gulf, to the Red Sea, and so on. So there are ways. That's good if you find ways. They're going to be an investment, but by the time these guys figure those things out, I guarantee you. I can't guarantee you, but. I think that the war will be ending, and I think this is my prediction: maximum November, and people will start talking about peace, not peace, but peace process. And why? Because usually in November in Europe is cold; it's getting colder, and you have to use gas to warm your houses and other things. And Europe will not be able by that time to fill its reserves because Gazprom diminished, cut the delivery to Germany because of some technical problems that Canada has to fix, sending some tools over there, some I don't know, machinery, whatever. They have to replace something, and it's Canada's fault now. So when they're going to have problems with the supply and they're not going to have gas, the Western Europe will say, okay, we bail out, and that's it. And they will put pressure on whomever they're going to find to stop the war. So because I don't know what Russia would be able to accomplish by then. What? They're gonna definitely reach the point where they say, okay, we reached this point, then what? You have the rest of the Ukraine, which you're not gonna do anything about it. Because you're not gonna invade it, you're not gonna go over it, you're not gonna go after Zelensky. If you wanted, you would have done it in the first 2 hours of the war, or even before the war. But that's not the point, that's not the goal. They said there are 4 points. Nevertheless, I suspect that by the time these guys build this route through Romania, the war will be over, or at least around that area. I think it would be better to go to Poland, much easier, but it's bigger distance, obviously, to travel, or to Lukashenko's Belarus. But the Lithuanian president is a man of his word, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Macron, the genius, solve the problem. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.